Welcome and thanks for joining us on EMII.com. I'm Caitlin Sisney with your hedge fund headlines. Today is Tuesday, March 11th, 2008. The Blackstone Group's fourth quarter report is bleak, with prospects for the future not looking any brighter. The private equity giant reported a net loss of $170 million in the last quarter, largely because of a write-down in its investment in bond insurer Financial Guarantee Insurance Corporation and the expenses associated with Blackstone's initial public offering. The write-down of FIGC, reportedly reducing Blackstone's revenue last year by more than $122 million, also is said to have hammered performance fees as well. According to Blackstone, the company gained $128 million in the fourth quarter, an 86% decline from a year earlier. Staying with hedge fund news, maybe they haven't made their mark yet on their own, but hedge fund clones are shaking up the market, or so says Jay Mohogi of Opes Prime Asset Management. Mogi, speaking at a conference in Australia, recalled Goldman Sachs being the first bank to introduce a hedge fund replication. He called the move significant in shaking up the industry as it charged a 1% flat fee. Mogi added clones will probably open the industry further to retail investors and pension funds due to greater transparency and lower fees, but he notes that specialized boutique hedge funds will still be in demand. And in other hedge fund news, efforts in the UK Parliament to extend the transfer of undertakings or protection of employment law to private equity have failed, though its sponsor vows to keep on fighting. The proposed bill, which would have required a PE fund that becomes a majority shareholder to consult with workers before a transaction is finalized, did not reach committee stage last week, apparently because Parliament was not convinced that equating PE shareholders with new owners would prevent job losses. Members of Parliament John Helpel, who sponsored the bill, admitted to Personnel today that the measure needs to be refined. And in other hedge fund news overseas, the winds of private equity opportunity are blowing toward the Middle East, as the next decade is expected to provide fertile investment in the region to the tune of more than $670 billion. Favorable opportunities are expected in education, healthcare, power, water, transportation, and petrochemical sectors. Power seems to hold the most promise, with a potential $200 billion market, according to Barrage Capital. Water follows at $134 billion, and healthcare is expected to see $49 billion in investment. And that rounds out today's hedge fund headlines. Thanks for joining us on EMII.com. For more details on these stories and much more, click on our hedge funds channel online and read the latest developments.